AiNA, the end. They do not come much bigger than her name. And you know what? I'm actually really excited about listening to a new AiNA The End song, partly because of the fact that, well, I mean, this is the theme tune to an anime that a lot of people have been talking about, DANDANDAN. To be honest, I haven't watched it, but the things I've heard about what happens in this story, well, I mean, if you are watching it, you know what happens in this story. And people are telling me, Howard, this is the best anime ever. And I'm thinking, okay, I might watch it. I don't watch that much anime, but maybe I'll make time for this. And then they say, Howard, a guy loses his... Anyway, AiNA The End is AiNA The End as an artist is someone who I've always been excited about. I first discovered her back in she was obviously in Bish, but Bish themselves I discovered as part of when I came over from doing the radio show to doing YouTube, and it was in that sort of month of January 2019 where I was binging a lot of artists who I'd heard about but I hadn't really listened to. It was things like, obviously Bandmade, and a big one for me was Bish. The name Bish came up, and it was one that I'd seen it around here in Japan, and then so I listened to it, and I just immediately became quite a big Bish fan because of just how interesting and diverse not only the members of the group were, but also the music they did, and it was so varied leading up to the band's eventual disbanding. But obviously AiNA had been doing a lot of other solo stuff during that time, and this transferred over to a very successful career. And along with her having a distinctive voice, obviously a love for art and dance and all these things, she's definitely one of those people who she's kind of got natural born celebrity written over most of what she does. Now, I know that there is a first take version of this song. I'm not listening to that today. Not in this video. I'm going to do a separate video to listen to that. But first of all, we're going to listen to the song On The Way, which is the theme tune with its official music video for season 2 opening. DANDADAN. DANDANDAN. Well, yeah, sorry. I'm thinking DANDADAN. I'm thinking like the Anno and Leaders theme tune for the DADADA. No, that's DADADA destruction thing. Wait, I'm supposed to pour it. So, let's all pretend that didn't happen. Let's check this out. AiNA The End, she's an artist who absolutely love her voice. We're always honest on this channel. There have been some songs she's done where, I don't know, just it felt to me like it didn't work as much for various reasons. Somewhere it has definitely worked a lot. So I'm really interested to see what we get from this one, see what kind of direction this takes her in. And, hopefully you guys will be able to tell me a lot more because, again, as much as, AiNA is everywhere here in Japan, and as much as obviously I'm familiar with her backstory, I don't dive in individually to see what's going on so much of a lot of her new releases post-Bish as I should do. So, guys, I'm sure there's a lot of context and things you can tell me which will make this even more interesting. But for now, we're just going to listen to the song, and then next up after this, I'll do a separate video where I look at the first take one, just because I'm sure I'm going to have very different stuff to say about that. And also because I'm not going to lie, I said we're always honest in this channel, I need the extra views. So yeah, I'm going to do 2 videos. Hey, look, you seen the subscriber count on my channel? I got less than most reactors, a lot less. I need those views, dude. Anyway. No, seriously though, I mean, it's actually kind of interesting because when it comes to the first take, I think AiNA is one of those artists who I'm really interested to see what she brings to that first take version. So I'm kind of intrigued to check that out as a separate thing. Anyway, let's have a little listen to this On The Way, brand new song. Well, came out a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago. Theme tune, let's get into it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be dramatic. It is AiNA. Singing in the rain. Okay, loving the build up. Straight into double time, okay. Going high energy. I'm liking that really thick, dark sort of bass. The whole bass section. There's really tight backing vocals. rhythm's relentless as well.
I like how bringing the piano back in immediately kind of gives it a funky, jazzy feel.
It certainly lightens the mood in the chorus. That's cool. I am enjoying that. You can definitely see the crowd chanting along to that. Bit of credit as well for basically a very straight shooting pop video. Some of the imagery is pretty cool. Yeah, do you know what? I think this chorus is going to get stuck in my head. It's a good chorus. Alright, bridge time. Good bridge can make a song. Oh, maybe not. Maybe go straight into the end. Okay, we got a middle eight instead of a bridge, but I can deal with that. Oh, I like that, the final piano chord. That's nice. Oh, okay. This is not what I expected. I'm going to be honest. I don't really know what I expected. But I didn't expect this. And it's kind of interesting being in Japan, and there's always like whatever music's popular at the current moment is always playing somewhere around wherever you go. But I haven't actually heard this. I was worried I was going to have heard this somewhere by accident or something, or spoiler it slightly, but I haven't heard this. And wow. Okay, this is interesting. So I got to sort of reset a little bit. Now, one of the interesting things is before going into this, I did have one bit of background knowledge I did have is a certain friend of mine who, let's say you might also know, has heard this song and wasn't such a big fan of it. And so I was intrigued to try and work out why he maybe didn't like it as much, or maybe just didn't click with it as well. For me, I think this definitely is an interesting choice for a intro song. Reminds me a little bit of what AiNA did with the Chainsaw Man theme tune that she had as well. Although that song's very different. There's something about having a song that just is very clearly a pop song, but has this kind of lingering underpinning sort of darkness to it. Now, I haven't watched the anime, so I can't speak on behalf of the theme of that, but I've heard a lot about it being sort of dramatic and magical and having a bit of humor and a bit of darkness and all these kind of mixtures of the supernatural and the science fiction and everything. So clearly it's coming from a more out there kind of imaginative space. And for me, this is that kind of song where it's both a pop song, but it does also have this underlying atmosphere, like I was saying about the AiNA song, where there's just a sense you can feel it's something it's got a little bit of an attitude, which is interesting. And obviously that's what you'd expect a lot from mine at the end. But the song doesn't lose sight of having a good funky beat that runs throughout. Like I say, the underpinning rhythm behind this, that deep bass and that really good sort of bouncing rhythm at the bottom of the whole song is just really important, really pivotal to what makes this song so engaging and so interesting. But then it gives this sort of bed of sound, which AiNA can just then deliver just a nice, straight kind of pop performance. I mean, I say straight pop performance, obviously delivered through AiNA's particular style of vocals. Her slightly jazzy, as I'm going to use that adjective again, that slightly jazzy style of performance she does. A little bit of the vocal breaking, not too much, just the right amount to give it a little bit of attitude. This for me was that good balance between a a song that's a pop song, you know, you can dance along to it, you can bob your head to it, you can get the chorus stuck in your head, you can do the da 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 da, you can do all of that, and yet at the same time, it's also a song that doesn't feel like some disposable piece of just catchy earworm stuff. It's actually got a little bit of personality, a little bit of emotion behind it. It's the sort of thing that, again, as I say, AiNA is so good at her best. So, what do I... Oh, and the video, by the way, I just want to quickly say, the video... really cool, very simple. It's kind of got that slightly artsy vibe, you know, with all the reflections and everything, and oh, it's the devil imagery and all of this. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, we've seen this kind of thing in pop videos before, but I did think there was some nice subtle stuff in this though. Like I said, it worked quite well. I did like how some of the lighting tricks were being done, you know, to really kind of, you know, the bit where she's sitting in the corridor and then the light's kind of going off and on and it's kind of making her disappear and reappear. And I really like that scene as well, where you're inside this empty office where it's dry. And you can see the crowded street outside where it's wet, and it's just kind of that lovely juxtaposition of everyone sort of busy and outside in the rain while there's this big open space of just dryness. And then they played that a bit into the devil imagery with the devil sort of breaking into the office and sort of, yeah, that connection. It's all a bit art school, but I tell you what, it really comes out well when you've got a director who knows how to visualize it properly. But okay, so what's my final thought on this? Well, my final thought on this is that if this was just a standalone pop song, definitely I enjoyed it. Is it quite enough to be one of those songs that I would come back to regularly just on its own right? I think it would fit in well with the playlist. As a song in a playlist, I'd be very happy every time it came on, but it doesn't stand out in any quite unique enough way, even amongst AiNA's catalogue, which obviously is particularly eclectic in of itself, to make me go, oh, I specifically feel like I'm going to come back to this song a lot on its own. However, there's something interesting about a theme tune. A theme tune really just has to capture the feeling, so that every time, this is the opening theme, so that every time it comes on, you know, closing theme's got a slightly different job, obviously, but an opening theme, just that thing where every time it comes on, it's kind of, you attach that emotion of being excited about the series. So in a way, I'm really interested to know how you feel if you are either a fan of her but not the series, but also if you're a fan of the series, how you feel this connects with that particular emotion. When this comes on, does it set you up in the right mood for each episode? Is it something where it's becoming sort of intrinsically tied into that feeling, so that when you hear the song, it has more emotional weight than just the song? It actually feels like it. And I don't mean this as in it's like sort of sucking the emotion out of the episode, or you know, sort of just co-opting it and, you know, benefiting from someone else's work. I mean, is it genuinely sort of channeling that emotion and, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not embracing, but encapsulating. You know, just does it feel to you when you hear this song? Does it beautifully sort of channel the emotion of the series in a way that just perfectly gives it that extra weight? Let me know. I really just know what you guys think. As always, though, get in the comments. Tell me what you think. These are my basic thoughts. I feel there's a lot of extra information you can tell me if you're either an AiNA fan or a fan of the series, that I'd be looking forward to hearing from you guys. And until I hopefully do see you in the comments or in the Discord. We've got a Discord. Feel free to go join that. Until then, for now, ciao, ciao.